Hey everybody, Alex Kazor, SteelersDepot.com, back to do another analysis of the Steelers' big 17-10 victory over the New England Patriots. They go to 8-5-1 on the year. The dragon has been slayed. David has defeated Goliath. Whatever other analogy you want to make, doesn't matter. Steelers get the victory. And honestly, since I've become a full-time with Steelers Depot, I kind of treat the games less of a fan and more of focused on the X's and O's, and I don't get as emotionally invested in the game as maybe I used to be. But for this one, I was really amped up, especially as the game started, because of all that this meant. And the Steelers, of course, responded in the same way. And that was really the crucial element to start, was you had to have the tone and the confidence and the belief, which I have no doubt the Steelers always have had and have never wavered from that, to turn this losing streak around, to beat the Patriots. And as we've seen in the past, and this is why I gave the Steelers a chance to win this game. I didn't pick them. I was wrong. But why I thought, they certainly could win this game as bad as things looked was because they are the kind of team that when the chips are down, when everyone is counting them out and, people are saying season's over, this is it, they're done, boom, turn things around, and the whole conversation flips. It's a very Steelers thing to do, to lose to Oakland one week and then beat the Patriots the next. Really, it's kind of the franchise in a nutshell, at least at times. Some of it's overstated, but it certainly has a nugget of truth to it. So to get the victory is fantastic, and it was a three-phase effort. There were highs and lows on all three phases of the game, but at the end of the day, they made the plays when they had to. And of course, you have to start with the defense. Yes, New England missed opportunities with drops, and they can go through their own tape and say where they could have done better, and that's totally true and fair. But end of the day, Patriots, I think, sixth-ranked offense or fourth-ranked offense in the NFL, finishes with 10 points. And for a Steelers defense that has struggled so much, and you didn't know how they were going to get stops. Ultimately, they got stops. They were successful on third down at their defense. They were successful with their red zone defense. They create the turnover. I mean, you really can't ask for more than that. Holding the Patriots to 10 points, 3 points after the first quarter, after the third play of the game. The big 63-yard touchdown to Hogan. Patriots scored 3 points the rest of the way. So incredible job there, both game plan, schematically, execution-wise. But of course, you get the big turnover. Joe Hayden, one of the, really, to me, two defensive backs in the secondary that have legitimate ball skills, him and Mike Hilton. And Hayden, taking advantage of the play, high pointing the football, finishing it with Gronk and I think Edelman, whoever the receiver was around him, making the play. So it might not have been the most difficult play in the world. It may have not been undercutting a receiver or, making a great play on the football with a blanket coverage. It was Brady trying to throw the football away, failing, but who cares? I'm not going to take anything away from Joe Hayden here. He made the play. It wasn't an easy play. It was far from a gimme. And you get the big turnover in the red zone with the Patriots driving. They were down by, 4 at the time. So you got some decent pressure on Brady. TJ Watt had a really strong game against their right tackle. Marcus Cannon got pressures early. Finally was able to finish it with a sack somewhere, I think, mid-third quarter. Just kind of moving Brady off his spot, forcing checkdowns, forcing some inaccurate throws. That was really big. So the pressure wasn't the best today, but you got wins with Watt. You got some pressure late. You forced some holding calls. Probably the pressure would have looked better if guys didn't hold to it. Drew a holding call on the final drive, I think, against Shaq Mason, beating them inside and forcing the call back and the Patriots up. So there were some of those factors as well in the play. I'll just stick with the defense, I guess, some more. Again, can't be too mad about the way things ended up. There were highs and lows with the pass game and the run defense, but ultimately a solid performance. Now, it obviously started rocky with the Hogan touchdown. I believe that's on Sean Davis. Tomlin even said it was not on Artie Burns after the game. Still think it proved that playing Artie Burns and Cam Sutton were probably the wrong decisions. Burns didn't play defensive snap after that first drive. Sutton was rotated. He did kind of play a little bit more, especially in the second half. But I think those probably were not the right decisions. But ultimately, you get the victory, and so those will be kind of glossed over. But Hayden played well. I thought Hilton did play well. I mean, Sutton wasn't terrible, but I never really fully understood the rationale for starting Sutton over Hilton, and then Sensible, of course, finished that game out after the first series. But yeah, just getting pressure, getting the stops. I mean, that's really the difference. Is you limit Gronk to 2 catches of 21 yards. I think the Patriots were like 3-9, 3-10 on third down, 0-3 in the red zone. As I said, that's the biggest stat of the game. New England 0-3 in with their red zone offense. And the Steelers were 2 or 3 with their red zone offense. So that's gonna be the difference in the game. So hats off to this defense for getting enough pressure, making the timely play. And the offense really played a lot of ball control, especially in the first half, that kept the defense fresh and the Patriots offense simply off the field. So remarkable job there. They're of course going to be tested again at New Orleans next week in the Dome. But you have some confidence now going forward. Now this has to be done consistently and probably more of it too. I mean, we are getting excited about just one turnover here, a thing that happens to most defenses on a weekly basis. So we have to put some context into it as well. But that's a huge play that Hayden made, and you want to see more of that going forward to get this now, turn this win into a winning streak. Excuse me. So that's the approach there, is finding out how this stuff goes forward and how to continue the success that they had Sunday afternoon in a game where obviously many people, myself included, struggle to find a way, think of a way how the Steelers defense was going to get a stop. Offensively, hats off to the offensive line. That starting five did a great job. Villanueva, Foster, Pouncey, DeCastro, Filer. Run and pass, Jalen Samuels rushing for a $142, over 6 yards of carry as a team. Ben having all day to throw back there. So it starts up front, setting the tone, playing physical. Really just a good job all around. Samuels was a world of difference from last week, running hard, running decisively, getting downhill. And the line opened up plenty of holes to Castro. Foster, I thought, in particular, played, really strong games. But the whole line across the board definitely did their thing. Even the sacks, where one was on Samuels, I don't even know what the other one, whose fault was there. But the line starts with the line, and they played a heck of a game. And then other guys just made plays too. As Tomlin said, the young guys making plays. Samuels, James Washington, showing why he's been drafted. And people got down on his hands, and I never said it was a hands issue. I just thought it was a track and finding the football and finishing the play kind of thing. And the couple catches he made, I think, showed that he does have really good hands. And when he's playing with some confidence and playing with good techniques, then he can make those kinds of plays. So big bounce back kind of game for him for the whole season. And hopefully you can kind of stack and build on that going forward, as they had every receiver up. All 6 receivers were healthy and played today, and all made pretty significant contributions, except for, I guess, DHP, but he did his thing on special teams like usual. So Ben, a little flighty, the interceptions. The first one was on him. The second one seemed more of a bunch communication issue. Eli couldn't get off press coverage, and it bunched everything up and resulted in a tip pass. But Ben certainly made the plays when he had to. But I just thought the run game, I thought some of the young guys, some of the new faces, Samuels, Washington in particular, made big plays. Vance McDonald made big plays. I mean, the stat line really won't show it. 2 catches for 13 yards, but his first catch was the touchdown on 3rd and goal in the opening drive, and the other one was a 3rd and 7 completion in the fourth quarter that kept the drive alive and allowed the Steelers to kill a lot of clock. And if they don't get that, then they're punting it around their own, whatever it was, 15-yard line, and the Patriots are going to have a short field with plenty of time, down by just 4. So 2 really critical catches for Vance McDonald, even though the stat line won't look very impressive with just 2 grabs for 13 yards. But then, of course, there is the touchdown. Eli coming back, starting, playing significant snaps, made a big catch, I think, on a 3rd down. We barely even saw the football in time, but a big play there. Samuels getting involved in the pass game. That 3rd and 9 catch that he had, where John Simon, the Patriots linebacker, left Samuels to attack Ben, and Ben throws it over the top. An easier play, but still a heck of a job. Again, the line giving Ben tons of time. You have to give so much credit to the offensive line. Juju making tough catches on rookie, corner J.C. Jackson. Antonio Brown with the touchdown, his 13th of the year. That ties a career high for him. So, again, just getting those kind of big plays from a ton of different sources. I mean, just everybody getting involved. What was it? 3, 6, I think 8 different guys caught a pass today. So really impressive across the board. Special teams to kind of finish things up. Obviously, you have the Boswell miss. We had our Daniel Valente was at the game today. He said in warm-ups that Boswell was struggling, struggling from the open side, or open end of the stadium. From the close end, he was doing better, and that kind of played out today. He misses a 32-yarder from the open end, pushing it wide right, but he nails the 48-yarder from the closed end. So, what's his future going to be going forward? I think he's going to stay. I think he shows that redemption and mental toughness to make that big kick, which was certainly far from a gimme from 48 yards out. And then you consider his whole circumstance. But the fact that Kai Forbath, the Steelers kicker that they brought in and looked at closely, is now in Jacksonville. No other options really out there. I think they stick with Boz and just roll with him the rest of the way. But special teams, I thought, elsewhere did fine. The coverage teams were solid. Cordell Patterson's a good return man for them, so they contained that. No issues with the punt game. I was a little worried about the Patriots getting after them in terms of getting a pump block. So really good across the board. So yeah, I always eat before I do these videos, and I shouldn't. That's just the worst decision on my part. But I wanted to get some dinner, and it screws up my voice the rest of the way through. So I'll wrap things up here. Bottom line, just a huge victory. So happy to get the win. You got 8-5-1. Obviously, if you lose this game, you would have dropped out of first place in the AFC North. You would have dropped out of the playoff race entirely. Been outside looking in. I think it's the 8th seed. So you guys know the implications of what this game meant to this team and how badly they needed it. Obviously, the road doesn't get a whole lot easier with New Orleans coming up on the docket next Sunday at 4:25. But he has some confidence going forward about what this team can do, but certainly will be tested again in very similar ways. What New Orleans is capable of doing, and of course you're going to their place in the dome where weather and those kind of things won't be a factor. So another challenging task coming up. But if this defense can make some splash plays, get some pressure, it's possible. Certainly possible. No question about that. In the offense, I think we'll do a better job of finishing some of their drives, and certainly know what they're capable of there as well. So yeah, if you guys have any thoughts on this game, I'm sure you do. Drop them in the comments below. I don't read the chat. I'm sorry during the videos, just because I don't want to have a bunch of windows pulled up, and this video goes up on the website, so I don't want to spend too much time talking to the chat when half the people listening to this aren't even watching it live the way it is right now. But leave a comment on this video, whether you're watching on YouTube, Steelers Depot, or follow me on Twitter at Alex_Kazor. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.